Happy Friday! It's so wonderful as we've gone through this week looking at the lessons of Esther. And today I want to finish with one of the most important lessons, and that is we are living in a world we have to take a stand. We have to be the light and we have to be the salt, but we have to know that we have a voice that we need to get out. With the story of Esther, I want to read chapter 4, verse 14, where it says, this is Mordecai speaking to Esther in the crux of this turmoil and praying and trying to figure out a plan. He challenges Esther in the most loving way as that uncle, father figure, but also as a prophet to the nations. And he says to her, for if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, and you and your father's house will perish. And who knows whether you have not attained royalty for such a time as this. You know, there's so many aspects of this verse that we can look at. We know that we've been born in such a time as this to make a difference. But I also love how Mordecai knows the character of God. He doesn't feel that it's just doom and gloom and he's read the newspapers and now we're all finished. What does he say? He says here, if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place. He knew that God was faithful, that God was not going to leave them in this desperate state, but that he would come and save them. He knew the faithfulness of God. And yet he still challenged Esther to say, but you can be the one. You can be the one that God has chosen for such a time as this. You're not here by accident. You're not here because you've earned it. You are here because God has placed you to make a difference. And we need to know that in today's society, the world is going crazy around us. Are we trusting in God's faithfulness? Do we know his character? Or when these crazy things happen, we start to blame God, or we don't understand why it's happening? Or do we know that, hang on a sec, I don't care where it comes from, but I do know help is on its way. Listen to these wonderful promises in Joshua 24, verse 15. If it is disagreeable in your sight to serve the Lord, choose for yourselves today whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served, which were beyond the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you are living. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. I think what's so special again, not only in this verse in Joshua, where we see Joshua giving his people a choice. We saw it with Mordecai and Esther. He's saying, listen, you have a choice. Help is coming, but you get to choose whether you're a part of it. Joshua said, guys, you can choose to serve those other gods, but as for me and my house, we're going to choose to serve the Lord. In 2 John 1 verse 8, it says, watch out that you do not lose what we have worked for, but that you have been rewarded fully. We need to choose not to lose what God is doing around us, to know that we have this choice to stand, to have a voice, to be the light and the salt. And finally, in Psalms 86 verse 11, it says, teach me your way, Lord, that I may rely on your faithfulness. Give me an undivided heart that I may fear your name. That is my prayer for me this morning, that I will feast on his faithfulness, that his faithfulness will be a shield around me. And not only that, that I will have an undivided heart. I will know what my calling is. I will be able to stand in adversity, that I'll be able to stand against the evil one when I'm being persecuted, when my name is being put to shame, that I will still stand knowing who I serve and that I've been called to be light and salt and that I have been born for such a time as this. Make that your declaration today as you stand just like Esther did, not knowing the full story, but redemption came and she saved her nation. Be the light today, be the salt, and always remember you are highly favored and